part one of Tellico Village Singers, their story, we saw how this amazing volunteer organization grew from just an idea to a popular and accomplished choir of over 100 voices in less than 8 years. Large volunteer organizations like the Singers are marked both by a rock-solid core of longtime members and by the need to recruit new voices to fill the occasional vacancies that occur. Meet Cheryl Gilbert and John McClure, two of the newest members of the Tellico Village Singers. Cheryl came to the village after 40 years in Chicagoland. A native of Rochester, New York, she and her husband are new residents. She found information about clubs at the Welcome Center, and the listing for the Singers particularly interested her. She credits her grandfather for instilling in her a lifelong passion for music.
My original exposure to music was from my grandfather. My grandpa was a musician. He was a saxophonist, and he played in numerous local bands. But his best enjoyment was sharing his gift of music and his love of music with his grandchildren. And for me, he somehow figured out that I was interested in the keyboard. So when I was 6 years old, he bought me a piano and got me started taking piano lessons. He would come over to our house practically every day, and he would help me practice my piano lessons.
John McClure's life found him moving to nearby Madisonville 2 years ago after a career as a Navy veteran followed by teaching at a college near Flagstaff, Arizona. He credits a friend at his church for suggesting that he audition for the Singers.
This is the first audition I've ever done. I've had some experience singing in other choirs in high school and in church choirs, but in those choirs, if you came out, they were happy to have you because it was school or church and they needed all the voices they could get. But this is the first audition.
The audition takes place, it's very, very casual. I try to keep it as very low-key as possible. They have to go up and down the scale. They have for me to listen to the choir and the tonals, the quality of the tones. Then I have them sight read if they can read music. I have them sing a couple hymns just to listen to how confident they are.
But applicants don't have to be able to read music.
A classic example of that would be my wife, who doesn't read music at all. So she listens to the choral tracks and she learns her part, which happens to be an alto, and that way she's ready to perform with us. Say, wouldn't you like to know what's going on in my mind? Amazing Grace, and then I want you to sing to me, and don't worry about the words. You just sing the melody, okay? But she'll play it first.
I didn't know what to expect, so it was pretty relaxed. Dennis is a real affable sort of fellow, and there was the pianist there. The audition was pretty easy. I had to sing some scales, and I had to sing a few songs without words, but it was overall a very pleasant experience. The people there were just so relaxing.
Now, what I want you to think about when you're singing this, don't think of it like a ladder. I don't want you to think that I got to get up to that note and then then thank goodness I get down. I want you to sing through that note so that it's, I couldn't remember where I started. So you go, that's where you're going, okay?
I was nervous. I really wanted the chance to be part of the Tellico Village Singers, so I wanted to give it my best effort. And it had been a long time since I had auditioned for anything, basically back to the time of high school.
What did you get up to?
I'm not sure.
What do you think?
D or E?
There's your D.
F? No.
G.
G? Oh.
Doing that, I got you up 4 notes higher than you think you should have.
And that word audition triggered a flashback for me. It took me back to those auditions for the high school musicals. And those were pretty scary and intimidating experiences back then. I can remember walking out on this big stage, the stage lights are shining on you. You look out into this dark abyss of seats, and like there in like the 53rd row is your choral director, the school drama teacher, and somebody you have no idea who they are, and you're supposed to just start singing. But the audition for the Tellico Village Singers was nothing like that.
Obviously, during the auditions, the singer is very anxious to become a member of the choir. There's a lot of determining factors of those, and some people are not ready to join the choir. I may have a balance problem in terms of voices, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, and I can't get them at that point when they're put on a waiting list. We had 14 auditions just now, just recently. I selected 50% of those. On average, it could vary anywhere from 20% up to 70%, depending on what I need and how many people are going to be auditioning.
I don't think I thought I did okay at the rehearsal, but I didn't know sort of what it was expected, so I didn't know if I'd have made it until I actually got the email and a letter from last week from Jan.
Jeff Ginno is the Singers veteran now with 5 performances under his belt. He came to the Singers with 10 years' experience in a rock band. He says he can read music at a basic level, but considers his musical abilities modest in comparison to other members. He was recruited at a meeting of the New Villagers Club. He still finds himself in awe of the complexity of the songs that the chorus performs and how they came to be able to sing them so well.
These are music with 5, 6, 7, sometimes even 8-part harmonies. That's not for the faint of heart. So how do we do this? Well, Dennis teaches us. He doesn't make it a lecture. He doesn't give us chapters to read or anything like that. He just interjects a little point here and a little point there and a little demonstration here. Who knew that there were different ways to hum? Well, Dennis does, and now we all do. He teaches us what to do with our jaw, when to breathe and when not to breathe. That's his biggest point.
Constant learning is at the heart of musical life. Whether you're a veteran singer or newcomer, rehearsals for the Tellico Village Singers change each person.
The first day of rehearsal, the first rehearsal I attended, I was placed in a particular seat, and I had 2 very experienced singers on either side of me and experienced singers in front of me. And they all introduced themselves, and they all listened, and they all provided prompts, and they all provided encouragement. They really are very helpful.
Cheryl Gilbert expressed real gratitude for the support she received from senior chorus members.
They helped me learn the ropes, how things work. They were also helpful in teaching me things about the music and just how to really best learn and practice during rehearsal and on my own.
We know things about music that I never knew before. What are all these little symbols written out through the music? A little triangle here, a little swish there, the little dot here. What does all that mean? We all know now. Are we supposed to speed it up? Are we supposed to slow it down? Does it get louder? Does it get softer? We have a music this year that's got a sforzando in it. Well, what the heck is a sforzando? Who knows what that is? I will tell you, there's 100 singers up there on stage that know exactly what a sforzando is and what to do with it. Some of them can even pronounce it. Nobody can spell it, actually, but we know what a sforzando is when we get it to the music, and that is just one example of the things we have learned from singing with Dennis leading us.
The director, Dennis, and the others that are part of the audition team, they went out of their way to help make me feel at ease during the audition. They started off by having a conversation with me. They asked about my background, why I was interested in the Tellico Village Singers, and we talked about my recent move to Tellico Village. And I realized that they were not only interested in my singing, but they were interested in getting to know me. You make me smile.
Oh, God, that was gorgeous. I promise I won't go to the audience and say, wasn't that good? Did you hear that? Wasn't that good? You want me to do it again? Okay, we'll do it again.
I guarantee you, no matter what your level of expertise and background, if you come into the singers, Tellico Village Singers, and you spend a cycle going through Dennis, and what I mean by that is handed out the music in the fall and perform in the spring, you go through one of those cycles, you're going to come out a lot more knowledgeable about music than you went in. It's because he's an educator. You can tell that's got that in the background. And he's a good one because you don't realize you're getting trained while it's going on. But you leave rehearsal every day a little smarter than when you walked in.
Music is an expression, and music is an emotional expression. When you're singing, you open up your soul, and when you're singing with a group, that bond is there that you can't explain in terms of something that, in words alone. There's just a strong feeling of family with our choir members.
That sense of family resonates deeply among the Singers Choir group. It makes sense that in a village where nearly every resident has uprooted their lives to move to this new place, that people would seek out a group, a family if you will, to help establish comfort in their new homes.
We want each member of the choir to feel that they are also a member of our family.
I'm looking forward to being part of a group of talented people who enjoy singing as much as I do. I look forward to working on and improving my singing. I look forward to making new friends, being a new member of the Tellico Village community. And I also look forward to being part of a group that's dedicated to putting on a performance, a concert for their community, to bring a musical experience to their neighbors, to those in their community.
With the formal invitation to join the singers now made and accepted, Cheryl and John now found themselves ready to go to work, singing for themselves, for their fellow chorus members, and for the community at large.
It's important to be committed to learning your music, your parts. It's important to show up and be part of rehearsals. It's important to be a good team player.
Well, I'm looking forward to the March concert. I understand the songs are going to be out of the American Songbook. And I'm also expecting to learn a lot about singing and music in general. I've learned a lot of music, a lot about music over the years in different venues that I've been able to be in. And when I watched Dennis at the rehearsal, he is just a font of information, and he shares that with the choir, and I'm looking forward to that.
The focus for Cheryl and John and the entire Tellico Village Singers chorus was now March 3rd, the first major concert performance of the year. Formal group rehearsals were scheduled every Monday, and there was a lot more individual practicing that needed to be done at home. For Cheryl Gilbert, her at-home practice routine begins not with singing, but with reading.
I would read through all of the learnings, all of the teachings, the directions, the instructions that we'd gotten from Dennis during rehearsal that I had made notes of in my music, as he advised us to do throughout our practice. And I would read through that to reinforce what he had taught us. The phrasing, where to breathe, where not to breathe, rhythms, dynamics, when to get loud, when to get soft.
My little town blues are melting away.
John McClure practices 4 to 5 hours solo each week in his tenor voice to get the timing and the notes right, and then
I practice with the other voices so that I can hear how it blends in with the others, and that's useful because when you're with your choir, it's important to be able to hear what other people are saying. That provides an additional cue.
Have you seen the what to do up and down Park Avenue?
each member of the Tellico Village Singers is provided with pre-recorded tracks that conductor Dennis Loy sends electronically by email to help them with their practices at home. Those tracks can vary in format.
Some of those tracks came in two versions, a slow tempo version and a regular tempo version. And I started with the slow version so I could learn words and rhythm and get that down. And then I moved on to the regular tempo.
There are some of the pieces that are pretty fast, and he's able to slow those down a little bit for us so we can practice the words before we actually do it at the real speed.
Another pre-recorded format that Dennis sends to members is the Singers track.
And this is a track that has people singing all of the parts together. This track gave me the experience of what it would be like for me to sing my part while other people were singing their parts. And this helped me identify where I was having trouble singing my part when people were singing other parts, so I could focus my practice.
Next came the accompaniment track, which is just the background music.
For me, that was the hardest track to practice with. You're basically on your own singing to that track. Either you know it or you don't. And that track pointed out for me where my weak spots were.
Finally, Dennis created special focus tracks for the singers.
When the chorus was having a particularly difficult time with a phrase, Dennis created a focused track of just that phrase so that you could play, repeat, practice, repeat, and that was a great tool to help me learn those difficult parts.
I wanna wake up in the city that doesn't sleep, to find I'm king of the hill, head of the list, cream of the crop and the top of the heap.
Cheryl Gilbert was thrilled with her very first performance, and the audience reaction to the singers made an indelible impression on her.
We were focused, we were in sync, we were excited to sing, and we enjoyed doing it. But I also felt this special energy coming back from the audience. You could tell they were thoroughly engaged, they appreciated what we were doing for them, and they were enjoying it. And it felt to me like the more they enjoyed what we were doing, the more we enjoyed doing it.
John McClure was fascinated too by the audience reaction.
Just watching the body language of the people that I could see, they were paying attention, they were listening. Some of them were swaying their heads back and forth as we were singing. So I think they really enjoyed it. And then in the hallway afterwards, on the way out, there were a lot of people that just complimented us as we were coming out.
John McClure's favorite song from the show, Love is a Many Splendored Thing.
There's a part for the tenors in there that's just really nice, and it's got a lot of drama to it, and there's a lot of crescendos and quiet parts. It's just a beautiful piece of music.
I did feel like I gave it my best. I think sometimes musicians can be perfectionists, and we tend to remember where we've made a mistake as opposed to relishing where we've really shined. So yes, I know there's some places I'll want to do even better at, but I am really pleased with how I was able to show up and perform.
I think I could do better. There's some things that I probably did that maybe nobody else noticed, but I think I can do better, and I'm going to be trying to do my best every time. I can't believe the level of professionalism in the people I've met in the choir. They're just all great musicians.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. And if you choose, you can lose your blues in a park in Ballet.
Being part of a group of very talented singers who appreciate the wonder of music and are dedicated to sharing the gift of music with others, with their community. It has been an absolute wonderful experience to be part of this.
With their first concert behind them, both John and Cheryl are looking forward to the next concert by the Tellico Village Singers, where they are a part of the family.